Hi there, I'm Vincent Bos, and I'm a life coach, relationship coach, and breakup coach. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing delete this to get your ex back. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. Subscribe to my weekly support emails. The link is in the description. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing delete this to get your ex back. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you will likely need to delete certain things. In today's podcast, I'm discussing the 3 things that you need to delete to increase the chance of one day getting your ex back. So let's get straight into this. And point number 1 is their phone number. So before I explain why deleting your ex's phone number could be helpful, let me know in the comments if you've already done this. Have you deleted your ex's number? So if you've already done this, maybe you are already feeling the benefits as for why this could help you. But if you haven't, then let me explain as for why this could be something which really gives you an edge in reconnecting. Because I appreciate it sounds somewhat random. How could deleting your ex's phone number increase the chance of one day reconnecting? Well, the reason it does this is because it removes an instant temptation you would have to contact your ex. Now listen, obviously there are many ways you could contact your ex. Obviously, if you were determined to contact your ex, you would be able to. But if you are in a position where you remove one of the easiest ways to contact your ex, you're much more likely to be able to maintain no contact, specifically my version of a no contact rule. Now, for those of you listening who haven't heard of no contact, the no contact rule is something that lots of people suggest you implement if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back. However, there are many different versions of the no contact rule that you can find online, and I believe that my version will give you the best possible chance of success. So I suggest that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, ring the bell for notifications, and check out the playlist on there entitled The No Contact Rule. This will help you fully immerse yourself in my version of a rule and understand why I believe it will give you the best possible chance of success. Once you understand that your best chance of success is to implement my version of a no contact rule, you will start to see why removing possibilities of contacting your ex is a good thing. And the biggest possibility is their phone number. Now, you might know their phone number off by heart, but it is surprising in this day and age how few people actually know many, if any, numbers off by heart. Back in the day, yes, lots of people knew numbers. Nowadays, not as much. Now, as I've already mentioned, of course, there are other ways you could contact your ex, but we're talking about removing something which could be the most easiest option for you to reach out. Whether you're going to give them a call, send them a text, if they are in your phone contacts, it is too easy. And if you feel a moment of weakness regarding wanting to reach out, this is when you will just do it. And the likelihood is this isn't going to help you. Now, we've got to use our common sense here. If you have a child together, deleting your ex's number is not going to be a smart move. If you have any legitimate reason as for why you need to be in contact with your ex, deleting their number is not going to be for you. Now, the other 2 things I'm going to speak about in today's podcast very likely will be, so please keep listening through, because 1, 2, if not 3 of these things could really help you increase the chance of getting your ex back. But in regards to point number 1, if you have a child together, if there is a real good reason why you need to contact your ex, then of course you should be making sure you have their number. Use your common sense. But if you don't need your ex's number, then you shouldn't have their contact in your phone It just creates an easy opportunity for you to break no contact. If you break no contact, you are very unlikely to get your ex back. If you maintain my version of a no contact rule, you really increase the chance of one day getting your ex back. Now, for those of you who still feel anxious, there is a bit of a halfway house, you could describe it as, for using this method, and that is that you write down your ex's phone number on a piece of paper and you put it somewhere safe. So you still have their number. If you are worried that you wouldn't know if your ex had given you a missed call, you get a missed call off a number, you can't remember your ex's number off by heart, you're not sure if it was them. If that is a concern to you, write down your ex's number before you delete their contact. Write it down, keep it somewhere safe, but don't have it too close and too easy to hand. Because if you do, again, if you have a moment of weakness, you will just look it up and send them a text, give them a call. We don't want that. We want it where, yes, you can access it if you need it, but you can't just get it instantly. That is the problem. We're trying to remove that possibility. Now, it's important for me to add here right now that I'm not talking about blocking your ex, okay? Now, if your mental health suggests that you must block your ex, then you must listen to your mental health. Some people need to block their ex from a mental health standpoint. However, you have to acknowledge if you do that, you are removing a possibility of how they could contact you. You are removing a possibility of reconnecting with your ex. So please think long and hard before you do that. But I'm not suggesting this in point number 1. I'm talking about deleting your ex as a contact in your phone. If they want to reach out to you, they still can. And again, like I said, if you're worried you wouldn't realize it was them giving you a missed call, then look, write their number down and put it in a safe space. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast. Please give this video a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel to keep updated. And point number 2 is shared accounts. So today we're speaking about delete this to get your ex back. And point number 2 is something I'm hearing about more and more in recent times. And that is that a dumper and dumpee share accounts. And when I say accounts, I'm talking about things such as Netflix, such as Spotify. You can fill in the blank about how you and your ex fit into this category. Now, if you do, for instance, share an account, such as Netflix, such as Spotify, it could be very tempting to keep that shared account. I mean, this could be from a monetary standpoint. You're thinking to yourself, well, I want to share this account because I don't want to pay for my own. And listen, I'm not giving you legal advice here. I think we all know that we shouldn't be sharing an account in this regard, but it doesn't stop the fact that people are doing this. Okay, so it's not a good idea to do it anyway, but I appreciate people are doing this for a whole manner of reasons. One, of course, being that it's saving money, but also more and more often I'm hearing dumpees keeping a shared account due to the fact that they are able to try and draw some evidence and conclusions about their ex's behavior on these accounts. And that isn't going to help you. Not only is it likely to be inaccurate, the conclusions that you are drawing, but it's just not a healthy mindset to have, to be almost stalking your ex's internet usage via what they are streaming, for instance. Okay, that's not a healthy mindset to have. And additionally to this, the conclusions you're trying to draw from it are not necessarily or even really likely going to be helpful. So putting to one side the monetary and legal aspect, okay, you shouldn't be doing this because, once again, it is triggering you. And if you feel triggered, then you are again much more likely to reach out to your ex, which, as we spoke about in point number 1, isn't going to help you. But on top of this, it's actually going to prevent you going through breakup recovery. Now, in point number 1, we was talking about those moments of weakness of where you want to reach out to your ex. And that is something that you need to try and remove. Point number 2 is almost an additional problem Because point number 2 is not just about you eventually reaching out to your ex, it's actually the trigger itself. And the trigger is seeing what your ex is doing. Your trigger is coming to some conclusion, as again, I said, probably a wrong conclusion about what your ex is thinking, what they are doing, what this might mean for you, the breakup, the relationship, due to what they are watching or what they are listening to. Now, Spotify playlists are the classic. Oh, I've seen my ex, the dumper, is listening to a certain song, which must mean this. Maybe the dumpee is coming to this conclusion due to the lyrics within a song. Maybe the dumpee is jumping to this conclusion due to the fact that this was quote unquote their song between the dumper and dumpee. And they're coming to these thoughts and decisions because they think, okay, if my dumper is listening to this, then this must mean they are in this position in their mindset. Now, although there could be strands of truth, I'm not suggesting that it's all completely wrong what you're thinking on an initial standpoint. But when, as a dumpee, you're coming to the point of thinking, right, okay, they are listening to this song, and therefore that means they are dating someone new. Or they are listening to this song, and that means they are about to come back to me. When we are getting to that level of conclusion, that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying it's not helpful and it's not likely right. Could you distinguish between your ex listening to a random song and the song which is quote unquote your song and thinking, is my dumper thinking of me? Okay, that is more logical, but it doesn't mean you know exactly why they are doing it, exactly what their next move will be. I've also heard dumpees say, well, my ex-dumper is listening to a song which I didn't really know of. I listened to it myself and it was really upbeat and positive. So that must mean that they are now living their life in a way where they no longer think of me. Okay, these are the thoughts of a dumpee which are going to drive you insane. They're going to make you think things that we don't know for certain, and they're going to prevent you from going through breakup recovery. If you don't go through breakup recovery, you are firstly more likely to reach out to your ex. As already mentioned in point number 1, that's a bad idea. But on top of this, you are also very unlikely to maintain and grow a stable mindset, which is necessary to reconnect with your ex. Because if and when they do reach out to you, it will be very clear if you have a stable mindset by the way you react, the way you behave, the way you act. If you are anxious, needy, agitated, awkward, these things will not help you get your ex back. And these things are going to be much more likely if you have not gone through breakup recovery. So we need to remove the triggers. We need to remove the things that make you feel negative. Finding this information out is not going to help you. So I suggest that you delete these shared accounts, that you remove yourself from these shared accounts, and that you get your own. I'm not suggesting you delete an account, which basically means that you nor your ex can access it, okay? That isn't going to help you. That's just going to annoy your dumper. That won't help you. What I'm suggesting in this regard is that you remove yourself from the shared accounts. Not actually delete the account, but delete yourself from the account. Remove yourself from the account and make your own. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and increase the chance of one day getting your ex back, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. This is the best and diamond level of support that I can provide. Go to my website www.dateme.tips for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. Talking about your feelings can also improve your mental health. It helps prevent the buildup of negative emotions, which can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. Speak your heart to free your mind. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast. If you feel that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description. And point number 3 is non-essential payments. Now, this is the most important part of today's podcast, so please keep listening through. When we're talking about delete this to get your ex back, this has to be the most delicate decision. Now, I want you to really think long and hard about how this may or may not connect to you. So, in essence, what we are saying is don't try and buy your ex by continuing payments for them. Now, again, please keep listening through. Don't just stop now and delete all of these payments and, because there's a lot more intricacy to this. What I'm trying to get across is that if you have been dumped, sometimes we are trying to grab hold of any possibility to stay with our ex. And if we have payments that we are making, which aren't really for us, they are for our ex because maybe you live together, shared responsibilities, whatever it may be, if you are thinking to yourself, right, if I continue to pay something for my ex, this means we are connected. This means I'll get them back. Well, unfortunately for you, that logic is not likely to work for you. So the main point of this is don't try and buy your ex. You can't persuade your ex to be in a relationship with you because you are paying for things. And if that is actually working for you, well, it's not authentic love. Do you really want that? So that is the main element of point number one. But now we need to look at what that actually means in reality. Now, first off, I don't suggest you cancel payments instantly. One of the reasons I say this, because sometimes a breakup can resolve itself before it is finalized. I describe this as a situation where the breakup didn't even really have the dust settle. Maybe there could be an argument made that you never really broke up, you just had a week apart. Now, this could be a situation which plays into your favor, but not if you have then deleted everything from your responsibilities, because that is going to be very annoying and frustrating to your dumper, and it could prevent you from actually reconnecting. Imagine the situation. You've had an argument with your partner. They say the relationship is over. They walk out of the shared house. They say, I'm going to my parents' house. You don't hear anything for a couple of days. You're not entirely sure if you're broke up or not. So then you decide to remove all of the payments that you were making for things that actually helped your ex, because you're thinking, well, the relationship's over. I don't owe them anything. A few days later, your ex comes back. It's all resolved. There was never really a breakup. And yet you now have an awkward situation of, because you have stopped paying for something, maybe one of your amenities has stopped working. One of your services isn't working. Do you think that's going to help you and your dumper reconnect? Unfortunately, it could actually really finalize the breakup. So my suggestion is that, and again, you've got to use your common sense here, but certainly continue to pay for your responsibilities, even if they're not necessarily yours, but things you agreed to pay for. You should be doing this for the next few weeks, if not the next month. Let's use the example that you are paying for your ex's phone contracts, okay? Don't cancel it instantly. Just pay it up until the next month. Once that's gone through, if you are clearly broken up, then unfortunately, that isn't going to be resolving itself. And therefore, that is time for you to stop paying. And this is where the intricacy really comes in. You shouldn't stop paying for something which causes huge problems. You need to try and maintain a level of respect for yourself and your ex. Now, of course, this will depend exactly what you are paying for. But for instance, if you were paying for the heating, the electricity of where your ex lives, and when you instantly stop paying, maybe the lights go out on your ex, maybe it could even be worse, but the lights stay on, but your ex is starting to rack up a really big bill that they wasn't aware of. However it plays out, this isn't going to help you. It's going to cause more negativity. So my suggestion is that you stop these payments a month or so post-breakup when you absolutely know the dust has settled and sadly the relationship is over. It could also be something which is discussed if you have that opportunity and say, hey, look, I'm just letting you know, remember, I'm the one paying for the electricity, so I'm going to be stopping that because I'm not here anymore. So you just, you need to be sorting that out yourself. You might want to be telling your ex that in a way which is calm and as respectful as it can be. Don't turn it into an argument. Don't turn it into a situation where you're being vindictive, but just say the reality. If we're not together and it's been a month or so, I'm no longer going to be paying for these things. So it is a very delicate balance, but please make sure that in essence you quote unquote delete this, that you are cancelling non-essential payments.